Hi, Capricorn, and welcome to your April 2024 horoscope. I hope you are looking forward to April. I know I am. April is going to pack a bunch. We have quite a few things happening. We have a solar eclipse, we have Mars conjunct Saturn, and we also have an event that only happens once every 14 years, which is Jupiter conjunct Uranus. So let's get more into the day-by-day breakdown of the month so you know exactly what to expect. On April 3rd, Venus conjuncts Neptune in your third house. This is actually a really beautiful way to start off the month because Venus and Neptune together are about this sort of beautiful unconditional love, a love that transcends and really focuses on pure connection. And because of this happening in your third house, I really see this as a day where you're like speaking angelic words and loving words. So if you have an important talk or an important essay that you need to write, this could be a wonderful day to do it. Or if you feel like for a while you've wanted to convey your love to somebody in your life and you just haven't been able to find the words, try to write something for them on this day because you might find that you're able to really express how you feel for them. On April 5th, Venus enters Aries, or your fourth house, and as it does that, it sextiles Pluto in your second house. I did a whole 1.5 hour live explaining the power of Pluto, going through all the Pluto in the 12 houses. So if you want to know more specifically what Pluto in your second house means, you can go in depth in this video right here. But for the context of this April horoscope, Pluto in your second house is teaching you the power that you can find in yourself when you are able to take care of yourself, have your own back, both financially, physically, but also in a more metaphysical level because you take care of yourself. You say you're going to do the things that you promise to yourself. And because we have a sextile with Venus in your fourth house, it's almost as if there's something happening with your family or with your home that is making it a lot easier for you to grow in your self-confidence and to show up for yourself in this meaningful and purposeful way. On April 8th, there's a solar eclipse in your fourth house or in the sign of Aries. This is an angular house for you, Capricorn. So you are one of the 12 signs that is going to feel it perhaps more strongly than the others. A solar eclipse is a new moon, which basically means that the sun and the moon are conjunct. They are conjunct in the decan ruled by the sun. This could mean that the actions we take or the words we say during this solar eclipse are motivated more by our ego rather than by our true selves. During this eclipse, we also have a Mercury retrograde, and this might mean that things we say or do are misinterpreted by others as well. And for you specifically, this is all happening around your home and around your family. So you might find that these themes are coming up in that area of your life. On April 10th, Mars is conjunct Saturn in your third house. Mars wants to do great things, to talk, to explore, to connect with their local community and neighbors and siblings. And Saturn puts a bit of a halt to it. Saturn asks Mars to slow down, to reconsider. It asks if this is really a mature way to go about it. Keep in mind that Saturn is not preventing you from getting to your final destination, but it just asks you to reconsider, and you can still get there. You might just need to adjust how you do it. On April 17th, Venus conjuncts the North Node in your fourth house. So this is pretty close to where the solar eclipse happened in the beginning of April. So I really see this as a day that you can reflect on the solar eclipse. You have had a bit of time, a bit of space from what happened around the eclipse season, and Because of that, you should have a little bit of the distance that you need, both emotionally and physically, to really reflect on what happened and if you learned anything insightful. On April 20th, we have one of the biggest events, which is Jupiter conjunct Uranus. This is happening in the sign of Taurus, which is your fifth house. One thing to keep in mind about this conjunction is that the Sun has also just entered the sign of Taurus, and that Mars is sextiling the conjunction between Jupiter and Uranus. Jupiter has been traveling through your fifth house for about a year now. So you should have been getting some really nice opportunities to connect with your inner child, to have fun, to bring back pleasure into your life. However, Uranus has also been in your fifth house for much longer than Jupiter has. And Uranus has most likely brought ups and downs, the highest of highs and the lowest of lows in this area of your life. Perhaps, points where like you are having the most fun you've ever had before, to points where things were quite busy that you couldn't have fun for a while, or when you try to do activities that used to bring you joy, all of a sudden they didn't anymore. So those are sort of the extremes that Uranus can bring with it in your fifth house. Now that the two are conjunct together, both Jupiter and Uranus, it's almost as if they're coming together, sitting down, having a coffee. They're each telling their side of the story. And together, they're coming to a realization about what it really means to have fun, to be in touch with our inner child, to have pleasures in life. So I think this can be on a personal level, I think this can be a really beautiful day to have a revelation or an epiphany about how you can connect to the child parts of yourself. Just a day later, the Sun moves a little bit more into the sign of Taurus and then squares Pluto, which, by the way, is in your second house. Because this is a square, it does symbolize some tension. And the houses we're talking about here, again, is the fifth and the second house. So the things that could be happening around this day is that you have some sort of fun event that you want to attend, but perhaps you're not able to because there's a part of you that hasn't figured out your finances just yet, or there is a part of you that doesn't feel self-confident enough to go to that event and have fun, for example. On April 24th, there's a full moon in Scorpio in your 11th house. The Sun is in Taurus in your 5th house. During this full moon, there might also be another revelation or epiphany or understanding that comes to you about where you're heading into the future. A lot of the times we see sort of today and fun and pleasure as entirely different from thinking long-term, making plans for the future. But I feel like with this full moon, it's almost about coming to the realization that you cannot have a future if you don't enjoy the present. And if you don't have a plan for the future, you cannot enjoy the present as much because you're always worrying. So again, this could manifest in many different ways, but this is just one idea to keep in mind as you go into this full moon. On April 28th, we have Mars conjunct Jupiter in your 4th house. Everything you say on this day, or even the actions that you do, the things that you plan in your calendar, are motivated from a place of selfless love, a place of unconditional love. And whether this is just, communicating to people at your work or talking from this place to the cashier at the grocery store, but maybe even to the connections that you have with your neighbors and with your siblings as well. So if you want to do like a really nice activity in April, maybe plan it on this day because this energy of Mars and Neptune coming together can feel quite nice. And finally, we close off the month Capricorn with both Venus and Mars returning to where they feel at ease. Venus returns to Taurus and Mars returns to Aries. And after the craziness of April, this can feel like a breath of fresh air. And it should feel like you can express yourself, both more difficult parts of you and more easier parts. You can still express them in a way that feels more natural and more flowy. And it doesn't feel like there is as much friction as perhaps you would have felt through the majority of April. So overall, Capricorn, I hope you're looking forward to April. There's something about the way you communicate this month that's going to be highlighted for you. And a lot of like taking care of what's around you, right? So like your siblings, your neighbors, your family. So you're really focused on like your immediate loved ones and your immediate surroundings as well. So I hope you enjoy that. I think that's a wonderful focus to have in the month of April. And if you want to make sure that you join me for the May horoscope as well, then make sure you hit that subscribe button, because then you'll know when the May horoscopes get uploaded. Thank you so much for joining me, and I hope to see you again soon.